everyone, welcome back, and I'm so glad you're here because today I'm going to be teaching you how to paint this adorable little watercolor latte. I love to have a warm drink with me when I'm painting, whether that is tea or coffee, but I need to be careful to keep that away from my paint water because I've definitely tried to dip my paintbrush in my drink and also drink my paint water. So if you're going to be painting with a drink, be careful to keep those two separate. Let's go ahead and grab our paintbrushes and get started. Okay, so let's go over what materials we're going to be using today. I love to use this Praying Oval 16 watercolor kit. You can grab this off Amazon and it's super affordable. Of course, we have our water, and I use a size 8 and a 12 watercolor brush. You can check out my Amazon storefront link that I have in the description to grab these materials. So let's go ahead and start sketching our cup. So I don't know about you, but I always have a hard time sketching out perfect circles or ovals. So what I like to do is find points on all sides of the circle. So go ahead and find one near the top, and I'm going to put that a little bit above the middle here. Go ahead and make 4 dots of where you'd like your oval to go, and I like to have it a little bit closer towards the bottom rather than center, because we are going to also add in a cup on top of this saucer. So go ahead and connect the dots that you have. And I'm just lightly taking my pencil to sketch that out here. And again, it does not have to be perfect. We are going to be painting over these lines, so just draw the best that you can here. So now that we have our saucer here, I'm going to go ahead and draw the cup. So we're just going to make that same motion. So I'm going to take a dot here for the top of the cup, and then one maybe in the middle of our saucer here, and then towards the outside of our saucer. So now we're going to go ahead and sketch the this is the top of our mug. So this is where we're going to be seeing the coffee, and then go ahead and just outline that here. And once we have that, we can then go ahead and erase that middle here where we see our saucer. And I'm going to go ahead and make a double line here. So I'm just going to outline where we did our oval here. So this is going to be the rim of our mug. I have been drinking coffee since I was in high school, so I always hear mixed opinions on whether coffee is good for you, but I think at this point it's just too late for me to stop drinking coffee. I feel like I drink it more for the comfort rather than the taste. I just love the feeling of holding a warm cup of coffee. And then we're gonna sketch out the bottom of our cup here. So go ahead and make a little semicircle here, and we are going to bring that to the edge of our cup here. Go ahead and connect that. And then we are going to sketch our handle. So go ahead and do a little bit of a semicircle. And we're just going to bring that to the bottom of our cup here. Go ahead and make the inside of that handle. Same thing, we're going to connect it to the bottom here. If you have a favorite coffee cup, you can go ahead and reference that if you'd like. I'm doing this based off of one of the teacups that I have in my home. We're going to sketch where our latte lines are going to be, so I'm just going to go ahead and make a little heart here at the top. And these lines, again, don't have to be perfect. I'm just kind of making little semicircles here. You're going to take that line down. When we're painting this, we're going to try to leave part of this white, so that's why we want to sketch this out a little bit to leave those foamy areas. We will paint the coffee around it. So we're just going to add that little semicircle, kind of following the rim of our cup here at the bottom. And doesn't need to be too exact. So I'm actually going to do the same thing here on the plate and do one little bit of an outer rim here, following the lines that we already drew. Let's grab our water and our paintbrush, and I'm going to mix up a color that is going to be really similar for the plate and the cup. So I'm going to take my white here, and again, you can make this whatever color you'd like. I want mine to be a little bit of an off white here, so let's go ahead and mix that up and go ahead and start painting that over the plate. And then we're gonna do the same thing and paint that over our cup here. I'm gonna leave a little bit of the middle right side of this cup lighter, because that's gonna be our highlight. So we're just doing our base layer here, and then we're gonna go in with some darker colors for shadows. So let's go ahead and mix up our shadow of adding some purple in, maybe a little bit of brown and purple. I like to use the blues also in my shadows. So go ahead and just mix up a darker color. And then I'm going to take that here around the rim of our plate and towards the left side of our mug. Go ahead and just add that in. I'm going to take that here on the right side of the plate as well. And all around. I think that looks good. I'm going to go ahead and take my smaller brush and just add a little bit more in those shadows. So I'm going to actually add a little bit of a red and purple. Same thing. Go towards the edge of the cup. I love to drink out of the same mug most of the time. In the mornings, it's this mug that my friend Marissa got me for Christmas one year, and it's just a really good mug for some reason. It keeps the coffee nice and warm, and it just it just fits in my hand really nicely. I don't know how else to describe it. Okay, go ahead and you can always add water to blend your areas a little bit better if you'd like. So I'm going to do the same thing and add some shadows to this cup. I'm going to go ahead and go at the top left here and just add some darker shades in. And go near the rim of the cup. Just go all around. And I'm going to add, again, some more blues in here. Blues and purple. And just kind of add that in certain areas. I think really adding in those colors that you might not expect to use, it just kind of really helps add that three-dimensional element. I don't know. I think the cooler colors really just help add, make the shadows pop a little bit more. Again, if you have a mug that you like at home, you can feel free to use that as a reference for you. Always makes it a little bit more special when you're painting something that you know and love. Then I'm just going to add that blue color here to the edge as well on the right side. Now I'm going to do the same thing to this handle over here. I'm just going to add some shadows. Want it to be a little bit darker at the bottom here and on the inside of it. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of shadows to the top. Now I'm going to take that darker color. So I'm just going to have a brown and purple mix here, and I just want to add a little bit to the edge of our plate here. So what I'm going to do is add some paint, and I don't want the weight of this to be equal all around. I want to have a thinner line towards the top and maybe have it a little bit wider at the bottom. This will kind of help again with our perspective. I might make it a little lighter in areas. I'm going to make the line really thin here and then thicken it up here. Then I just want to add some more warm tones here in the plate. So I'm just going to mix up an orange and a brown and a white just to add a little bit more color here. I'm going to take that here at the edge of the plate. I just like adding a bunch of different tones in the painting. I'm going to add some interest to it. If you added too much, you can always lift up paint and dab at it with a paper towel. Okay, so now I'm going to again take that darker color that we used for the edge of the plate, and I'm going to do that same thing around our rim here. So what I'm going to do is just add a darker line around the top of the mug. So again, having it thicker in some areas and a little bit thinner in others. And then I'm going to go ahead and start working on the coffee part. So for the coffee, I'm going to go ahead and mix up a light brown color, a little bit of orange in there. So let's go ahead and take our white and brown and orange. And once we have a tone that we like, we can go ahead and start adding that in here. Always want to start a little bit lighter than we need to. We can always add in some darker colors to layer over. So I'm just taking this around the edge of our cup here. Let me know if you have any specific coffee orders that you usually make. I always tend to go for a chai latte whenever I go to coffee shops. I don't know, I think it's something that I like across most coffee shops. Doesn't matter where I'm at. Something that I feel like is universally pretty good. And a lot of times I like to go to coffee shops like later in the day if I want to be working on something and don't necessarily want that caffeine. So chai lattes are good because they're a little bit less caffeinated than a coffee. Okay, so here in the latte, I'm just kind of going around those lines that we made. Again, doesn't have to be perfect, but I just wanted to keep those white because that is the foam of our latte. So now I'll go ahead and take a darker brown. I'm just gonna have brown mixed with that color we were using. And again, I'm gonna take my smaller brush here, and I'm gonna add that in here towards the top. You see that it's blending well with our coffee just because the paint is still wet. And you can continue to go in layering with darker colors here. I'm just gonna add it in. I always think once you add those darker colors, it really starts to come together. I think adding shadows really starts to pull the painting together and you can see it take shape. So I'm going to continue just adding some purple in here. I'm going to add purple and black and brown for an even darker color at the top here. I really want to emphasize this shadow up here on the top rim. And once we have that done, I'm going to start adding some darker colors. I want to take a little bit lighter than what we've been using. So maybe mix that light brown we were using earlier and go ahead and just outline more of these latte marks. Foam marks, not sure what they're called. It's like the little foam design that they add, and it will usually last for about a minute until I take a sip. But super pretty. I'll try to take a picture of it when I get my coffee. Just outlining these will really help define our latte a little bit more. And don't worry if you're painting over your lines. It does not need to be perfect. I think it just adds a little bit more to the texture even if you go outside of the lines that you were painting. Actually, I'm going to purposely go over some areas, so just adding more of those semicircles wherever. Okay, I like how our coffee looks, so I'm going to actually revisit our plate real quick, and I'm going to add a maroon line around the rim just to add a little bit of design to it. So what I'm going to do is just mix up a light red color and take that here on the inside and just start adding that. Again, with all of our circle lines, I'm kind of making it thicker in some areas and thin in others. So I want it to be really thin here towards the front. And I'm just going to stop it right about here. And then I'm going to continue adding that line back in once we get further in the plate. So lastly here, I'm just going to go in and add a few darker lines throughout this cup where I think they should be. So I'm going to take a black, my red, just to have it kind of an off black. I don't like to use a lot of stark black a lot. I like to mix it with other colors just to tone it down a bit. So I'm going to add in some darker lines here at the bottom of the cup just to define it a little bit more and really add that shadow back in. I'm going to pull that black line up on the left side of the cup here. And then I want to add that a little bit here on our cup handle. Helps define it. Then I think I'll add a little bit more around our cup at the top. Go ahead and just add wherever you think it needs it a little bit. This is kind of usually my last step to paintings, is just adding in sharper lines where I feel that there needs to be. Maybe you don't want to add any, and that's okay. You can stop the painting whatever you feel like it's done. I think that's something that's hard for me, is knowing when to stop. Sometimes I just need to be done with a painting. And I think we are done with this painting. I hope you all learned something from today's video and walk away with a beautiful little latte painting. As always, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Watercolor with Emily, and I also have a website, watercolorwithemily.com, where you can find my latest art or a blog that I write. And I'd love if you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and take a look at what other videos I have out there. If there's something else that you want to learn how to paint, let me know in the comments below. Until we paint again next time.